What's up, everybody? Final morning show for at least a while. When I get some PTO and stuff like that, maybe we bring it back. Maybe we do a couple. But for now, this is the last morning show. How's everyone doing? What's up, Lily? Jason is in the house. Mr. Black Pillar himself. It feels nice. I'm very happy to. Oh, Marianne, I'm sorry. Well, I hope you get to watch it later. What was I saying? I don't remember. We're gonna have a nice chill stream today. We got this little bit of legalese stuff we're gonna talk about. But not too much. I hope we're all having a good. I think today is the last somewhat cool day for most of the country. It's supposed to get a lot colder tomorrow and going through the rest of the weekend and then all of next week. We're supposed to get to 11 degrees on what is it? Wednesday, I think. It's going to be 11 degrees here. Oh, I see what you're saying. You'll miss this show. Okay, Marianne. Yeah, we're going to miss it, but it's definitely been the bright spot of these last 22 days. Clyde, yeah, I got a buttload of chicken in the freezer. I don't have anything that works without power. That was probably a mistake. Because we do have a pretty good possibility of losing power. So I should probably go to the store this afternoon. That's great. Okay, that reminds me. I need to text somebody something. Okay. So I'm actually going to the old firm later this afternoon. I'm going to go do 2 closings for them, and they're going to pay me for it. But I need to email someone over there and be like, hey, I need you to let me know if this stuff changes. I gotta find the email. Hang on. Was it yesterday? It's not that one. I get way too many crap emails. Okay, let's just search her name. Okay. There we go. Exactly, right? Uh-huh. But it's good. They're probably gonna pay me like $300, which is nice. I'll take that in and I'll go buy a bunch of books from what's his name? What the hell? There we go. Dollar's Revenge. How's everyone doing? Yeah, so very cold this weekend. And yeah, Lily, because it's not we only have threatening ice. We don't have threatening snow. I should still be able to go and get some turkey and what I ought to do is I ought to get a cooler because shockingly I don't own one. I ought to get a cooler to go if we lose power that I can put stuff in and stick outside. But this complex has a wild cat problem that they just don't get rid of the effing cats. So does anyone know what SHOT Show is? Yeah, Layla, I should still be able to get some stuff here. So SHOT Show is a firearm convention that's held in Vegas in I think it's January every year. It's usually held, I think, at like Caesars, right across the strip from where the AVNs are being held, the Adult Video whatever awards, which I always think is pretty damn funny. But there is a really cool Gatling gun on Mash for Two says, congrats on the monetization. Well, buddy, I appreciate that. This is one of the things that was shown off at SHOT Show. And I need it.
Hand crank, belt fed, Gatling gun in 5.56. And you're asking yourself, what does this thing cost? And I'll tell you right here, $1,200 out the door on this baby. You don't think it's true? It's basically $1,000 worth of AR-15 parts, barrels and bolt carrier groups put inside a 3D printed chassis. This is all 3D printed, and the plans for this thing are free. A guy from nopel-0.com, NOPEL-0.com, put these plans out. There's a few components that you need to buy from him, but they're really not that expensive. The rest of it is aftermarket AR-15 parts, and it's a delinker inside there, so you get yourself a 5.
Can we see you shoot it?
It's like the old-fashioned Gatling gun, only better. Tell me in the comments, for $1,200, would you put this on top of your car and shoot gophers in the back?
Abso-fucking-lutely I would. $1,200? That's 2 AR-15s. Cheap AR-15s. What's up, Insure? What's up, Colehauser? Oh my God, that would be so much fun. Oh. That would be awesome. I'm going to start buying ammo again. Wow. Damn, this must be what Jay was showing earlier. I heard him talking about Trader Joe's. That is wild. But again, people are out there buying all the fridge stuff, all the cold stuff. Now they bought up all the bread too, but they bought up all the cold stuff. What happens when you lose power? I guess you just open the what you call it, the door, and send it out there. Hang on. Damn. So I've got a buddy of mine that I've been playing Factorio with, and we were supposed to play tonight and have a big old long session this weekend, but he now has plans this weekend. So I'm trying to kind of manufacture some plans. Oh, that's not how you spell having. Jeez. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this definitely isn't what it looks like here in South Carolina. It looks a lot better here, but it has looked like that before. Good morning, Stephen Brown. Jose, yes, this is the last one. So it's a bit sad, but it's sad for a good reason. But I heard I was finishing up Welcome to the Rebellion and heard Jay put this lovely human being on. We already all heard it, but let's listen to it again.
That's common sense. ICE should not be able to storm houses of worship.
ICE is not storming houses of worship. They've been using this same talking line for like 7 months now, claiming that ICE is going into schools and going to churches and kidnapping people and doing all this stuff that they're just not doing.
Hospitals and schools, that's common sense. That relates to protocols that exist for every other law enforcement agency in the country. ICE should have...
Which is why they're all being arrested. Now I'm going to talk about Dom Lemon in a little bit. Because that one's weird. I'm going to try to explain. Actually, I call a friend of mine that's a prosecutor to make sure I was right about some stuff. So we're going to talk about him and what he's doing wrong. Giles, what is your profile picture? Is that? I mean, it's clearly rigging, but what kind of ship is that?
A use of force standard.
Yeah.
None currently.
He's getting ready to say that ICE does not currently have a use of force standard. There's another lie. He's just lying. Use of force is a standard, it's not even a legal standard, it's a concept used by every single law enforcement agency on the planet. All it really means is for every level of the use of force, there is a reactionary level. So if you have someone, threatening to punch you, well, you use your taser. If you have someone threatening to hurt you or harm you or hurt civilians or do anything that's actually could cause bodily harm, then you can use your gun. Yeah, Jared. Yes. So I got a new job. I start Monday. Doing a lot of what I was doing. So it's a little bit lateral. I think it's a better firm. From what I understand of the firm, the processes are better. The SOPs are better. There's less of a chance that things get missed. So very happy about that. But of course, this dumbass was over on Morning Joe talking all this stuff with Joe. What's his name? Scarborough. So I'm not surprised he's just sitting there lying. I saw this report. I don't know if I buy this. A new report suggests nearly a third of children try to swipe books like smartphones when they start school. Here's the reason I think that's not true. Okay. Here's the smartphone. It's flat. You know, it has a screen. We swipe. This is a book. You open the book. There's no way that anyone 5 years or older would be retarded enough to think, oh, this big old block, I swipe it. I just don't believe that. I just do not believe that. According to the survey by Kindred Squared, 25% of kids also struggle with basic life skills. Well, that one I might believe, but here's what I would want, okay? Define kid and define basic life skill. I think that a basic life skill right now for me is cooking, hygiene, going to bed on time. That's, things that make the next day easy. That's what I think a basic life skill will be. Well, a kid, what if a kid's a 5-year-old? 5-year-old's not going to be able to cook, so that makes sense. I feel like these reports, and the one Corn Boy is talking about as well, that 25% of college students are struggling reading. They sit there and they tell us, in fact, they didn't even give us the survey. Where's the report? Because I'll bet you what that report of the 25% of college kids, I'll bet you what that's saying. So here's the sentence. Though the little sneak did not seem to think so. So I'll bet you what happens is you get some kid in freshman year go, though the little sneak did not seem to think so. And it's just whether it's some guy that, struggles. What is this? Oh, that's cool. This is the receipt for when I bought the book. I bought it from the Friends of the Castroville Public Library. Cool. Okay. Sorry. You either get a bunch of kids, because I remember being in college and seeing a bunch of kids reading for the first time that I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on? Like, how are you not able to do, how can you not string this sentence together? And that's partly because of the way they teach kids how to read in elementary school. I got into the car one day in kindergarten, first grade, and told my mom, I opened a book and I said, hey, mommy, I can read this without even looking at the words. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, see, like, I know there's an elephant. I see an elephant in the picture. So I know if I come across a big word with an E, it's probably elephant. And my mom said, oh, no. And I think I was homeschooled the following week. So none of this is new. And Corn Boy, is that you giving me the report? And, well, again, so Corn Boy, this is the UK. Okay, from Sky News. Almost a third of children who started reception last year were not able to use books correctly, sometimes even trying to swipe or tap them like a smartphone, a survey has found. Around 1 in 4 were not toilet trained, and amid warnings, more children are struggling with basic life skills. Okay, what is reception? UK reception. Reception is the first year of primary school in England and Wales. Usually between the ages of 4 and 5. Okay, I don't have children. I assume potty training is like 2 to 3 years old. Is that right? The UK as a whole has trouble with life skills. So sheriff says it's kindergarten. An annual survey of primary school staff by early years charity Kindred Squared. Teachers estimated 26% of the children in their reception class this year were having frequent toilet mishaps, rising to more than 1 in 3 in the Northeast. Staff also reported about 28% of children started school unable to eat and drink independently. Okay, that one's weird. I'll give them that. I don't think kindergarten kids having toilet mishaps is that weird. I feel like that's fairly common. A 4-year-old holds his bladder too long. That happens all the time. Over half of staff said children's and parents' excessive screen time was a key factor in children not being ready for school. I believe that. It comes amid a government push to increase the proportion of children arriving in reception school ready with developmental milestones, including basic language skills, being able to eat, go to the toilet, and dress themselves independently. Oh, someone posted that in here. Sheriff, yeah. Basic life skills for kids that age, usually tying shoes, getting dressed independently, etc. I think I still want to know more. Well, let's see. I still want to know more about what's going on in, like, how are we defining can't dress yourselves? Like, are they, because I've been watching Everybody Loves Raymond a lot. And there's that episode in it where one of the twins, they're in preschool, I think. Yeah, they're in preschool, getting ready to go to kindergarten. And one of the twins isn't ready. He doesn't cut paper on a straight line. He gets 9 and 6 confused. And then there was one other thing, something with drawing, I think. So I think we're overreacting with all this. The same with the reading thing. I think we're overreacting. Do parents need to take a more involved role with their children? 100%. Should parents be sitting there reading to their kids? 100%. Story time growing up was my favorite time of the day. But I don't think this shows really anything that different from 30 years ago. I think you got a whole lot of kids that show up to school, especially when I was in kindergarten in 2000. I remember kids crapping themselves and having to go to the nurse. I don't know. I think people are overreacting. I think this report is a government sponsored thing trying to say, hey, we need more money. So I got a joke here. Hillary Clinton is elected president. And on the first night she spends in the White House, she is visited by the ghost of George Washington. She asks him, George, what can I do to best serve the United States? The ghost of George Washington responds, never tell a lie. She says, oh, I don't think I can do that. The next night, she is visited by the ghost of Thomas Jefferson. She asks him, Thomas, what can I do to best serve the United States? The ghost of Thomas Jefferson responds, listen to the people. Oh, I don't think I can do that. On the third night, she's visited by the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. She asks, Abraham, what can I do to best serve the United States? Abraham Lincoln responds, go to a play. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's the UK. We know they have issues up there. They all love this. Apparently, they're really into cousin marriages. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can look at your cousin and be like, you know what? That's the person that I would like to procreate with. MASH is going to work. Be safe, buddy. Do not remember, steer into the skid. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do. Corn boy.
This morning, while Brewer police were helping investigate.
So we've got more instances of stupid white liberals, women.
This morning, while Brewer police were helping investigate a threat at nearby schools, they say officers encountered a woman who thought they were ICE. Brewer police say 63-year-old Mary Conmey of Orrington deliberately drove to the scene and interfered with police activity. They say Conmey repeatedly sounded an air horn, refused lawful orders to leave, and yelled expletives at officers. Police say she stated she didn't want ICE in her neighborhood, despite reportedly having marked police cruisers and uniformed officers. Officials say her actions interfered with legitimate law enforcement operations and created a real risk to the officers.
Interestingly enough, when we made contact with the person of interest and we're investigating this further as to does it relate to the Old Town event, this person became aware of our whereabouts because of the sounding and alert of that air horn. So when you have somebody that comes by and has this intention of interfering at all costs, it's detracting us from the safety issues at hand.
I'll tell you what, he's struggling to breathe, ain't he?
It is creating another pocket of distraction, and it's just a bad overall situation.
Brewer police.
Geez, so this is a bit of it. So 63-year-old Maine woman, of course this is going on in Maine, accused of obstructing police from investigating a serious threat at a school because she thought they were ICE. And she's a retired New York State police sergeant, Mary Conmey. I wish we had actual video of it. That would be great. But this stuff, dude, guys, we're going to keep seeing this stuff over and over and over. It's insane the sheer amount of TDS that these people have. They all think that it's main character energy. They all think that they are the main character, that they're going to be the driving force to fix our democracy, that they're going to be the people to drive out the evil MAGA spirits. And it's pathetic, really. Like, what are we doing? This was really cool. I saw this the other day. On January 21st in 1776, Lutheran pastor Peter Muhlenberg in Woodstock, Virginia, was reading some text from the book of Ecclesiastes, saying, "To everything there's a season, a time of war, a time of peace." He paused, trails off, and declares, "And this is a time for war." He then tears off his clerical robes to reveal a colonial colonel's uniform. He marched out of the church door and immediately enlists 162 men from Woodstock to fight in the Continental Army. That is cool. I need a movie about the warrior priest. So y'all saw this yesterday, right? That, or 2 days ago, Elon Omar decided to talk about how ICE just detained a 5-year-old child. Don't tell us this is about the worst of the worst. That's a lie. Absolutely vile. Basically trying to tell us, hey, is this her brother, or did she change that yet? Huh. And of course, this is all a lie. And luckily, the DHS saw this tweet and the article and decided to respond. ICE did not target a child. The child was abandoned. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Conde Arias, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. As agents approached the driver, Adrian Alexander AACA fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained with the child, while the other officers apprehended CA. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parents designates. This is consistent with past administration's immigration enforcement. Parents can take control of their departure and receive a free flight and $2,600 with the CBP Home app. By using the CBP Home app, illegal aliens reserve the chance to come back the right legal way. Again, they're still doing this. Like, I honestly, if I was the Trump administration, I would have stopped doing that 5 months later. Like, I would have said, you know what? You can get this awesome stuff for like a month, and then we're not going to offer it anymore. Sheriff, your comment, I'm going to be quick about that just because of what the name says. But your comment about tablets making parents lazy, I'll tell you what, I've never been one to kind of judge parents because I'm not a parent for the most part. You know, obviously there's some behavior that parents will make that I'll just be like, that is not good parenting. You just kind of know it instinctually, what bad parenting is. I don't think you instinctively know how to be a good parent, but I do think you can kind of instinctively know how to be a bad parent. But and I swear, I hope he's not watching this. I was criticizing a friend of mine yesterday because I was talking to him on the phone, and his son, a year and a half old, maybe 2, was just being loud. You know, as toddlers are, they're loud. But I would sit there and go, bro, are you gonna like tell him to be quiet? Like, this is not good behavior. And he was like, he's just bored. It's like, who cares? He's being rude. Tell him to be quiet. To which, of course, he rightfully said, you know, I can't wait for you to have a son who's loud. You want to talk about someone that's going to have a kid that's loud? It's me. All right, let's talk about Dom. So, dumbass Lemon. Let's see if he's been arrested yet. I don't think he has. Hey, Mando. Let's see. Okay. So Lemon has not been charged yet. Obviously, these three have. Pretty great. I'm a big fan. This is why he has not been charged. As Jay talked about it on Welcome to the Rebellion, that magistrate has refused to sign the indictment. Arrest warrant. Probably, very likely, because his wife is a staffer with A.G. Ellison. Yeah, that's probably the reason. Now, the reason that they can't just go arrest him is because the arrest warrant has to be signed. Now, I don't know why they don't go to a different magistrate judge. They can't, at least here they can. It's federal, so they should be able to. That's on. I mean, this just shows like a second class of justice to me. That if you're rich enough, if you're famous enough, you don't have to pay for your actions. I want to see if and what is probably happening is they are afraid to arrest him, or the judge is someone is afraid to so Cole Hauser, I'm gonna bow to Megyn Kelly's knowledge of all that. She was a federal prosecutor. She knows that so much more than I do. They can, and we actually know for a fact that there are grand juries going on in Minneapolis as we speak. So maybe they're working on it, which is probably why they aren't going after, or probably why they aren't just getting another magistrate to sign off. But I'll tell you what, he has been going all over the place trying to convince people that he is not, it's not his fault, that he's innocent. And what's crazy is, we've got that video, I think I showed it on here, where he's pretty clear that he helped organize it. He did everything he could to make sure that information to get out. He did everything he could to hide information. So I think he's absolutely guilty of it. There was did y'all see Jasmine Crockett campaigning the other day with like the hood accent and all that stuff? Hang on. Someone just told me about something. I was looking for an email. Oh, is this it? Corn Boy, is that AI? So Crockett goes on the campaign trail. She's running for Senate because she's going to lose her House seat. She's going to lose so badly. If she ends up being the Democrat, who is she running against? Is it going to be Ted Cruz? Or John Cornyn? It might be John. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. John Cornyn. And he's in his Republican challenge, I think, is Ken Paxton. That'd be really funny if Ken Paxton won, because Ted Cruz was, I believe, Ken Paxton's predecessor. Cornboy, if there was ever a time for incumbents to be worried, it's now. We're seeing more and more incumbents over the last 6 to 8 years. The incumbent, how do you call it? Prestige, let's say, has decreased by like 22 points. Like it's a lot harder for incumbents to win now, which is great. Like no one should ever win just because they have the job already. Like that's just retarded. Okay. Yeah. So he was. Is this the top pills? So he was the Solicitor General of Texas. Ken Paxton's the Attorney General. Okay. James Tellerico. Who the hell is that? Oh, he's the super gay guy that led the walkout in Texas. Dude, that guy, this dude, guys. This is the biggest manufactured candidate in the history of American elections. You think Barack Obama was manufactured? This guy is bred in a fucking lab. He's nuts. Honestly, I hope Jasmine Crockett wins the primary, because that would just be hilarious. I wish I could stop Google from showing me results from the Hindustan Times. Look at this. So, Canadian Reddit. Should we expect more of this in Canada? Was at an under-18 tournament in British Columbia, not a particularly religious area. A couple of American teams took time after the games praying at center ice while the Zamboni driver waited on them to finish. This happened regardless of whether the games were running on time or not. Public rink, not related to high school sports. I guess I'm just wondering why it can't be done elsewhere instead of making everyone wait. I've not seen this in all my years. My kids have played hockey. Is it a new thing? Yeah. Praying is a very popular thing to do in sport. I wonder if I can find the post. Hockey players, ambitious middle. There's a dash in the middle. Let's see. And of course, everyone over here on Reddit is quoting Matthew 6:5-6, which is the verses that talk about how if you're praying, do not be a hypocrite like the Philistines. Not the Philistines, the who was it? Pharisees. Go into your closet and pray there. That's not what this is. These are two different things. Jeez. These people are friggin' losers. Bullshit. I tell you what, these people, these anti-religion people, these what do you call them? Absolutely. They probably started the game with a land acknowledgement. Drunk 3. I found Jay's new shoes, by the way, guys. The first wearable Lego Crocs. I'm glad I don't wear Crocs. Okay. Now I only have a 2 o'clock closing, which means I lost $150. I 100% agree, Cole Hauser. Donald Trump needs to get back into running the GOP. It is bullshit how laissez-faire they've been in the last 8 months. Idaho, yes, I did. I start my new job on Monday. It's doing very much the same thing that I was doing, so I'm pretty excited about it. The fuck is that? That's terrifying. As long as he doesn't wear socks with them, like. That's funny. Donald Trump quoting oh my God, what's his name? Theodore Roosevelt is awesome. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. God, I don't understand why. Like, why do we not treat countries as just countries? Why does everyone have to be kumbaya? Why do we all have to make deals to each other? All of this is bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. There's no rational basis to it. Trump said, record cold wave expected to hit 40 states. Rarely seen anything like it before. Could the environmental insurrectionists please explain whatever happened to global warming? Excellent. Looks like City's Church has retained counsel. Statement from Renee Carlson, General Counsel for True North Legal. The Constitution and federal law protect people who gather in peace to worship God, which was exactly what City's Church was doing January 18th. Families go to church for hope, not fear. I know from personal experience that City's Church is about loving its neighbors and serving the city. The church's actions speak louder than the words of the people who shouted that peace of the church. The First Amendment does not allow premeditated plots or coordinated actions to violate the sanctity of a sanctuary, disrupt worship, and intimidate small children. There is no trespass to invade a sanctuary or to conspire to interrupt religious services, which is, I think, a pointed comment about Don and not the other people. The Constitution protects citizens from threats against fundamental rights by the government, but it also requires government to protect those same rights when they are jeopardized by private actors. And that's true. So everyone needs to remember, okay, everything that happened, this is not, you're going to see people sit there and say, the government, it wasn't the government. Don Lemon's not part of the government. That guy and those two women, they're not part of the government. They're not protected from being interfered. And that's right. The First Amendment does not protect South Carolina Baptist Church from being harassed by John that lives down the street and doesn't like Baptists. What it does is it also requires the government to protect their right for peaceful worship. So part of that is charging the people who prevent that right from being able to be practiced. That's one of the reasons why police officers show up at church services to watch over the services. They show up, they sit outside to make sure, they stop traffic. These are government services that the First Amendment allows, not because they're supporting a government versus or a religion versus another religion, but they are protecting the individual right that the First Amendment guarantees. True North Legal is proud to represent City's Church and is grateful to the Justice Department for taking violations of religious liberties. This is a statement from Doug Wardlaw, Director of Litigation for that service. The First Amendment protects the God-given rights of every American to assemble and to worship God. It does not give anyone the right to invade a church and terrorize worshipers. It's a federal crime. The FACE Act prohibits intimidating or interfering with people worshiping in a church. It is outrageous that instead of doing their jobs and protecting Minnesotans' rights, state officials like Keith Ellison chose to mock the invasion of a church. Thankfully, the U.S. Department of Justice acted decisively by arresting those who coordinated and carried out the terrible crime. The arrests and the prosecutions to follow will help ensure that mob aggression like City's Church experienced will not be repeated in any other house of worship. They need to get this done quick. If they don't want this stuff to grow, they need to fix this. Market Reality 5 says, because these are a bunch of citizens of the world. The EU is a communist empire run by unelected bureaucrats ruled by unvoted on laws. 100%. So the EU has the EU Parliament, which is elected, and then it has the EU Commission, which is unelected. And the EU Commission has so much power that you would think they were the elected representatives of the people. They are able to disregard votes in the EU. They are able to tell member nations to re-vote, and they're able to force member nations who vote not to do things to do it anyway. It's absurd. Thank you very much, Mark. Oh, that's neat. A belt-fed, drill battery-powered, variable power 22 minigun. Man, they make cool shit for SHOT Show. I saw something that said, "Hey, don't forget that we got bad weather coming out. Whoever you're hanging out with today, you're going to be stuck with them until Tuesday. So make sure you enjoy the people you're hanging out with right now." Sorry, fucking Corn Boy keeps sending me shit. It's hilarious. What the? Hey, is Kata an idiot? He said this. This is how men prefer their women shaped. I don't know about that. His water wet. Jose, is that Charleston, South Carolina, or Charleston, West Virginia? So this is a report coming in from Fox News that there's apparently proof that A.G. Ellison met with the Somalians in exchange for campaign donations so that he could get the money turned.
And a Fox News alert also in Minnesota, the convicted ringleader of one of the state's biggest fraud schemes is speaking to Fox News from behind bars. Now, she believes that the scam was no surprise to local Democratic leaders, and she's naming names. She spoke to Alexis McAdams. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, Dana. Yeah, so everywhere you look in the state of Minnesota, right, there seems to be another fraud scam. So this one involves Amy Bach. She's a Minnesota woman convicted of fraud for taking taxpayer money that was meant to feed hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware, but apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything.
So Bach ran this nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. You might have heard of it. It was one of dozens convicted in this $250 million scam. You can see her mugshot there. Prosecutors say this group set
Only 250 million? Man, that's lightweight.
up sham restaurants. They pretended they were making these meals. They got paid by the state for those meals, but they just pocketed the cash. Bach, who's looking at 30 years behind bars, tells me the state signed off on those businesses, not her.
It all went through a process. They were all approved. They were all paid by the state, yet all the fingers are being pointed at me.
And it's not just Bach. Whistleblowers told a congressional committee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison there ignored warnings for years as millions of dollars and millions were stolen on their watch. Congress is investigating a long list of massive fraud schemes in the state. It's hard to keep up. Prosecutors say it's led to at least $9 billion in fraud, Dana, and counting. Congress also asking why the Attorney General there would meet with a group of Somali fraudsters, which were under FBI investigation in 2021. The group can be heard in an audio clip given to us by Bach's lawyer, offering to donate to his campaign if he can help them get their funding flowing again. Ellison denies any wrongdoing here. He slammed Bach in a statement to Fox, calling her a liar and manipulator, adding now she's on a media tour to deflect her guilt onto others instead of finally taking responsibility for this fraud scheme that she ran. So we reached out to Governor Walz too, Dana. He didn't get back to us. House Republicans say it's just getting started. They want to subpoena Walz and Ellison because they say they're responsible.
So here's the thing that really bugs me about this. What you have here is you have one of the major networks in this country reporting that you and your AG knew that billions of dollars was being scammed out of taxpayer money, out of both the federal government and out of Minnesota, and you did nothing about it. In fact, you were complicit in the fraud, and you are refusing to reply. Did anyone see what's it called? Spotlight. Did anybody see Spotlight? The movie that came out a couple of years ago. Actually, I think it's been about a decade now, about the Boston Globe's investigation into the Catholic Church's dealings with their pedophile priests. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you seeing it. It's a very good movie. It's shockingly the idiots in it. So it's Michael Keaton, great. Rachel McAdams, who I'm in love with. Rachel McAdams will always be my number one. She's beautifully gorgeous. Liev Schreiber, Stanley Tucci, and Mark Ruffalo. And Mark Ruffalo actually does a really good job in it. Shocking, but he does. There's some other people in it. John Slattery is in it, and some other faces I've seen before. But at the end, they're finishing up writing the article. It's a spotlight story out of the Boston Globe, which means it's going to be this huge thing. Spotlight was, I don't know if it still is, but it was their like secret investigative team. Like they could spend, a year on stories. And they're working on this story, and then 9/11 happens, which obviously pushes the story. But they get back to it, and they're getting ready to publish, and they finally go, look, we need a quote from the Cardinal. We need a quote from the Catholic Church here in Boston. And the Catholic Church refuses to comment. And do you know how, obviously y'all do, because you're intelligent people. That's why you're here. But how freaking retarded. You've got the major newspaper in this country, actually in the world, about to publish an article that you knew that there were Adobe software priests who were abusing children for decades and did nothing about it. And you don't even give a comment. That's what we're seeing, that level of stupidity coming out of Minnesota. They don't even want to comment. And that's how you know, honestly, that's how you know it's true. That's how you know that these accusations are true, because they don't even want to associate, they don't even want to quote so that their quote can't be used against them in the future. It's just not a lot of leering going on in Minnesota. Nope. None. Who the fuck is this? Is Harry Styles gay? There's got to be a woman in here that loves him. Yeah, it must be. I asked because I've seen this tweet now talking about how the Harry Styles tour is going to prevent people from seeing a Rangers game in Madison Square Garden for like 3 months. Corn Boy with a 199 super sticker. I love how the $2 super sticker is red, just like the 100+ super chat. I wonder how often someone sees that and goes, "Oh." And I wonder how often someone spams those just to like freak out a creator. That would be hilarious. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay, we're gonna listen to some Greg Gutfield for a second.
This is about America first and our ability to save their asses. As Trump said at Davos, you'd all be speaking German if it weren't for us, which really pissed off the French once they had it translated into Arabic.
Oh my God. This guy's actually pretty funny. What's this? I need to bookmark that. I'm gonna make a video about that. So I'm obviously I'll double check this. But apparently the Arizona AG tells residents they can shoot masked ICE agents under state self-defense laws. The left continues to push for civil war. Do not shoot someone that looks like they're a cop. Don't shoot people to begin with, okay? It's a bad idea. Okay. There is no way in hell that there is a court in this land that will uphold a person's right to self-defense against a federal law enforcement officer who is dressed like a federal law enforcement officer, who announces themselves as a federal law enforcement officer. There is no way in hell. And if a jury were to find someone innocent, as we've seen 2 times already, jury nullification work against people for crimes against ICE officials, there's no way in hell that a judge would let that happen. A reasonable judge. Blows my mind. Actually, Mark, so a judge can... So judges, Mark, I'm assuming you're still here. So a judge can change the verdict. What is it? It's a motion notwithstanding the verdict. I can't remember what it's called. Can a judge do it if they're found innocent? Because I know they can do it if they're found guilty. Notwithstanding the verdict. Yeah, judgment notwithstanding the verdict, the legal motion that reverses the jury's verdict. Come on, Mark. Let's find out. Everything I read says verdict, doesn't say guilty or innocent verdict, so, or liable verdict. So I think they can. It's usually, Mark, you don't need to send a super to answer. Mark for 5 says judges can get creative. JMV, the innocence thing is possible, but that judge better be able to split the Red Sea. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Mark. Let's see. It is insane how, and that's what it is. They're so angry that they cannot continue to dox these people that they are willing to kill them. Is Jay just going through? I keep getting notifications that Drunk 3 is like this. It's like this. It's like this. Is he just going through my Twitter right now? Okay. Yeah. Here is the Attorney General of Arizona talking about this.
Democratic Attorney General Chris Mays has a message for ICE.
We are watching you. If you violate an Arizona law, I will prosecute you.
The AG's office posted this new page on its website for the community to report alleged misconduct by federal agents, including video and images of the events in question.
We are encouraging people to send us their videos, and they have every right under the First Amendment to record those videos.
If there are confrontations between residents and ICE agents, like we've seen in other cities, Mays is concerned they could turn deadly.
But to be clear, you're not telling folks you have license if you are threatened to shoot a peace officer.
No, but again, if you're being attacked by someone who is not identified as a peace officer, how do you know?
That's one reason Mays is.
How about the fucking badge on their chest? How about the fact that they look like a cop? These aren't plainclothes detectives walking in and stealing people. Like, oh my God. These people, she needs to be arrested right now.
Demanding that ICE agents remove their masks.
If somebody comes at me wearing a mask and I can't tell whether they're a police officer, what am I supposed to do?
Here is a picture of ICE agents and police officers who are wearing their masks. How do you think you could tell if they're police? Do you think the giant fucking sign that says police might help? Here's another one. It's a terrible photo. Do you think the badges on their shoulders and upper arms might tell you they're cops? How about this one? Do you think police might tell you they're police? Like, what do you want? This isn't a pride parade where you walk around wearing a bunch of dumbass signs and rainbows. God, she's a fucking idiot. Okay. So that we're gonna talk about this and then we're gonna be done. That that protest is supposed to happen today. They're all supposed to walk out of work at, what is it, 3:00 Eastern? And I don't know, actually, I think it's the entire day, and not participate in anything. I cannot imagine that. I mean, again, it's like -20 in or -11 in Minnesota right now. I cannot imagine most people are walking around us. I don't care how Midwestern you are or how much you love the cold. I love the cold, and you wouldn't catch me dead outside in -11. Let's see. Hang on. Let's watch this for a second. This is Bavino. Where is it? I have way too many things open.
That are trafficked across the border that ICE and Border Patrol saw daily back when that border was out of control. Saw daily back when that border was out of control over those past 4 years. I'll detail one for you, folks, that's truly heinous. Border Patrol agents there in the El Centro sector encountered a young child who was approximately 3 years of age. The child appeared to be drugged, not with his parents, with strangers. Agents managed to wake the child up after doing what is known as a sternum rub, which is which is a technique to wake someone up that may be induced by drugs. As the child woke up, we understood the child's parents were not with him, and medical examination saw that this child had non-surgical sutures in his abdomen. Let me say that again. Non-surgical sutures in the child's abdomen. He was being trafficked across the border in that condition. That's not an isolated event with the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE. We saw that many, many times. Drug children coming across the border, and guess what? Other than a couple of news outlets.
I was kind of hoping for some actual conversation about Minneapolis. This stuff's insane. I don't understand how anyone thinks that they can support this. I don't understand how anyone thinks that they should be able to support the crimes against humanity that these illegals and these traffickers are doing. It's absolutely despicable, and I think it's probably one of the lowest points in American history since the 60s. Like, it blows my mind. Did Tabitha not go live? Well, Mark Reality says for 5, sounds like a perfect day to go shopping at Walmart. All the mall zombies removed. Heck yeah. Yep. I'm going to head over there in a couple minutes and grab a couple things. And then, just relax for the weekend. I'm excited. We're going to have, we'll be back to videos. We'll be back over on this channel. I'm going to try to do a video Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then maybe live streams on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know yet, but I will definitely let y'all know. Hope everyone has a good day. Hope everyone has a great weekend. And again, thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for all the support. It has been more humbling than I can even begin to express. Peace out.